Welcome to the deep dive. If you're here because you need to get up to speed fast on complex topics, you want to cut through the noise and really pull out the actionable stuff from all that research, then yeah, you're definitely in the right place. This deep dive is brought to you by AI Opportune. That's the show where AI meets action. Look, in a world changing this fast with technology, we help founders, builders, curious minds make sense of it all and actually use it to get ahead. At AI Opportune, we focus on the real tools, the strategies, the stories, how AI is actually changing how we work and lead. It's not theory, it's about the edge you can build today. So if you're building anything in this age of AI, hit subscribe on AI Opportune. Stay plugged in. Okay, so today, we're zooming right into the factory floor, and the supply chain's feeding it. We're looking at manufacturing, specifically in 2026. Our sources, they're pretty broad, Capgemini, World Economic Forum, others, and they all point to one thing. We're past just making things. Now it's about making things, well, smarter.
It really is a huge shift, isn't it? From just scale to actual intelligence baked in. We're way beyond just playing around with this stuff now. For anyone in operations listening, the data, it really highlights two main areas where AI is already giving immediate measurable gains, big ones, predictive maintenance and supply chain optimization. These two, they're basically the pillars for the next wave of resilient manufacturing.
Okay, right, let's unpack that. Manufacturing used to be all about materials, efficiency, volume, right? But now intelligence is the key metric. So if AI is the sort of quiet engine driving things, what core problems is it solving that, frankly, older management systems just couldn't keep up with?
Well, it really tackles the sheer volume and speed of information. Modern plants, they generate just mountains of sensor data. Far too much for human teams to manually sift through and find the important signals. AI acts as that quiet engine by basically turning all that noise into actual insight. It lets operations move from constantly putting out fires, reacting, to being much more strategic, anticipating issues. So practically speaking, that means predicting failures before they stop the line, optimizing your logistics in real time as things change globally, and keeping quality high without totally burning out your inspection teams.
That move from reactive to proactive, that's huge, because waiting for a breakdown, that's just incredibly costly, right? So for maintenance, what's the specific signal AI is picking up in all that data that maybe a person or even older software would just miss?
It boils down to anomaly detection, really, but on a microscopic level. Every machine has its own normal operating signature, vibration, temperature, current draw, things like that. And these aren't fixed. They change with load with the environment. AI platforms, they use machine learning to learn this sort of dynamic normal. So when something, say, a bearing's vibration drifts just a tiny bit outside that normal range, maybe over hours or days, the AI flags it instantly. That tiny drift, that is the forecast. It lets platforms schedule maintenance, weeks ahead.
Yeah.
Long before that small thing becomes a massive, catastrophic failure.
And the data on this is, well, pretty stunning. Are we talking just small improvements in uptime here?
Oh, far from it. This is a genuine game changer for throughput. The Capgemini 2026 manufacturing report, it gives us a really solid number. They found using these AI predictive systems leads to, get this, 30 to 50% fewer unplanned outages.
Wow, 30 to 50%.
Yeah. Imagine cutting your critical downtime potentially in half. That frees up resources, right?
Yeah.
Moving them from emergency fixes to actual proactive improvements. And it drives down the overall repair cost dramatically because you're dealing with minor wear and tear, not replacing totally destroyed parts.
And platforms like Augury, Falkonry, they're the ones making this happen, turning sensor noise into a reliable forecast.
That's right. They're some of the key players.
So for you listening, this basically takes maintenance from being this unpredictable headache, this operational cost sink, and turns it into something much more manageable, predictable even, for budgeting. Okay, so let's connect that internal factory stability to, well, the outside world. The last few years really hammered home that supply chains need to be agile, right? Not fragile. Old planning systems just couldn't keep up with all the volatility, the market swings. How does AI help build that resilience into the whole network?
Right, AI basically transforms the supply chain. It stops being just a rigid pipe and becomes more like a resilient, adaptive network. It does this by hitting two big challenges at once. First is forecasting. AI can predict demand with, well, almost real-time accuracy. It does this by chewing through way more data than we could before, looking at everything from weather, global shipping, even social media sentiment in local areas. Second, let's talk inventory. AI is brilliant at balancing stock across different warehouses. It minimizes how much cash you have tied up, avoiding both extremes, hoarding stuff you don't need or suddenly running out of something critical.
You mentioned these platforms analyze data far beyond traditional ERP systems. Just quickly, for folks maybe less deep in operations tech, what were the old constraints with those ERP systems that AI gets around?
Good question. So traditional ERPs, they're powerful tools, but they're fundamentally backward-looking. They mostly rely on your own past sales data and often preset assumptions, maybe quarterly forecasts. They're just not built to quickly integrate all that messy, external, real-time data. So they don't see a port delay coming or a sudden spike in local demand until it's basically already happened. AI just bypasses that whole rigidity thing by acting on fresh data instantly.
And that speed, that's the agility piece when things go sideways.
Precisely. That's the third big win. Rapid adjustment when disruption hits. If a key supplier suddenly stops or a shipping route closes, AI platforms, think ToolsGroup, Kinaxis, O9 Solutions, they can model alternatives, suggest new routes, new sourcing within hours, not days.
Hours versus days, that's huge.
It's the difference between weathering a storm and being sunk by it. And the Boston Consulting Group, their early 2026 report, backs this up with hard numbers. Companies using AI got up to 18% higher service levels for their customers. And at the same time, they achieved 22% lower inventory costs.
Better service and lower costs. That's usually the operational holy grail, right? And I guess the foundation for that has to be just better foresight.
Absolutely. BCG found AI improved planning accuracy by over 30% compared to just a couple of years prior back in 2024. That kind of foresight, it changes everything. Supplier deals, cash flow, production schedules, you name it.
Okay, this paints a picture of really massive operational gains. Let's try and put some dollars and cents on it. What's the actual ROI we're seeing behind this strategic shift?
Well, the ROI evidence is piling up really fast. Take cost reduction. Capgemini found 32% of manufacturers using AI just for predictive maintenance cut their costs by over 10%, and that was within the first year.
Wow. Okay. So a quick payback on the initial investment.
Yeah, a clear justification.
Yeah.
And then there's the future potential. Integrating AI with things like digital twins, that seems to offer returns that just completely rewrite the economics.
Digital twins, yeah.
It does. The World Economic Forum, they're projecting that factories integrating these advanced ideas like digital twins with AI could see up to a staggering 7x ROI compared to traditional setups, and that's by 2026. So we're not talking small tweaks here. This is a fundamental shift in profitability potential.
A 7x ROI. That's the kind of number that drives very rapid adoption, I'd imagine. But let's pause here because this is critical. We've talked a lot about what AI can do. We need to cover the other side, the human element. It's easy to assume these platforms just replace decades of know-how. What are the crucial roles people still play in this intelligent factory of 2026?
That's maybe the most strategic question for any leader right now. Look, AI can crunch sensor data, optimize routes, predict demand, but it absolutely cannot replace human expertise. The sources are pretty clear on where humans fit in. First, AI gives you generalized solutions. But you need people, your experienced teams, to adapt that AI to your specific niche processes, to the unique, quirks that every single factory has. No two are identical.
Right. And when something completely unexpected happens, something the algorithm has literally never encountered before, that's where human judgment is just irreplaceable, isn't it?
Exactly right. Your teams are essential for those real-time, high-stakes calls when something totally unforeseen crops up. Things that need context, creative problem solving, stuff way outside the AI's training data. And beyond that, people need to become the trainers, the coaches for the next generation workforce that is AI literate. The model isn't man versus machine at all. It's smarter collaboration.
Leveraging AI for its strength, speed, data, and leveraging human strength, strategy, adaptation, that hybrid future sounds like the real key.
It really is. The new operating model is becoming quite defined. AI handles the alerts, the flags. Humans make the critical decisions based on them. AI spots the trends. Humans set the long-term strategy. AI enables rapid scaling. But humans are still the ones who drive real innovation. Honestly, the manufacturers who really lead in the coming years, they'll be the ones who master this integrated collaboration best.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive. So just to recap the key takeaways for everyone, AI is fundamentally rewriting the rules of production. It's bringing efficiency and resilience. We saw how predictive maintenance can slash unplanned downtime by up to 50%, and how optimizing the supply chain brings huge gains, like 18% better service, 22% lower inventory costs, all potentially leading up to that incredible 7x ROI.
The data really does lay out a clear path, doesn't it? For operations leaders looking towards 2026, the choice seems pretty stark. Either adopt these tools now, build that intelligence into your processes, or likely watch your service levels and cost metrics fall behind as competitors just redefine the baseline.
Which leaves us with maybe one final thought for you to chew on. If AI is now handling the real-time alerts, tracking the subtle trends, managing inventory fluctuations, the heavy lifting of operational data, how will you ensure your teams are truly focused on the high-value work, the strategic decisions, the process innovation, the stuff that really relies on unique human expertise? Because that shift in focus, that seems to be what defines manufacturing leadership going forward.
Definitely something to think about as you plan your week.
We really encourage you to keep following the ideas and insights that help you move with purpose. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time on AI Opportune, your next competitive edge.